When it comes to the gaming scene on YouTube in the early 2010s, one of the biggest franchises on the platform was Call of Duty. Groups like FaZe and Optic, as well as YouTubers like CNators and Syndicate, were all able to pull in millions of views and inspired a lot of other people to do exactly what they were doing. But with most gaming content on YouTube, there was a lot of subgenres that came out of it, with the one that I'm going to be talking about today being trolling videos. Although a lot of these YouTubers who did this type of content are either forgotten today or moved on to better things, their content and what happened to them in general will always be interesting to me. I was never a huge COD enjoyer when it came to the YouTube side of things. Most of the content that came from the game just wasn't all that interesting to me. But when it came to the trolling videos, I was completely hooked. And this is one of the reasons why I also made my last video in the series, which you should watch by the way if you haven't. So with that said, for this video, I'm going to be covering 3 YouTubers who are known for COD trolling, where exactly they ended up, and my personal connection to some of the content. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. If there was any COD YouTuber that I would be thinking of when I was a kid, it would have most likely been Merc His name isn't really brought up nowadays other than videos going over situations he's been a part of, but his older videos give me a lot of nostalgia personally, and he was one of the only COD YouTubers that I used to watch. So for this reason, I want to go over the history of his channel and a thing that would eventually cause a lot of his audience to completely turn on him, so let's get into it. On April 22nd, 2009, Merc, also known as Eric, would make his YouTube channel, with his first videos coming out a few months after this. His videos would start off as music content where he would just be playing different songs with an electric guitar. These videos aren't really too notable to me though, other than it just being a showcase of a hobby that Eric had. He would do these videos for about a year until he started to upload COD content, with the guitar stuff eventually being phased out within the next couple of years, and this is where he really started to gain some sort of traction. He would start to gradually gain subs every year, going from 4,000 subscribers in 2011 to 12k, 100k, 500k, and finally to over 1 million subscribers in the beginning of 2015. And in the middle of all of this happening, he released some of my favorite videos from him, most of which had to do with either COD or Minecraft trolling, which leads me to say this. What I failed to mention earlier in this section is that adding Merc to this video as a forgotten trolling channel is a huge technicality. Trolling content wasn't the only thing he did, or the main thing really, but I put him here because it's what I personally remember him for. And something that I failed to mention in my last video about trolling channels that I'll go into a detail a little bit here is that Eric was one of the reasons that I started to watch Minecraft content in the first place. I would not have watched Xbox Addictions, Unstoppable Luck, or any of the other big Minecraft trolling channels if it wasn't for him. So it was only a matter of time before I mentioned him in a video. Things always wrap around the Minecraft for me, don't they? I'll always appreciate his content. Going back to some of these videos and seeing comments about people reliving memories, only for those comments to be from 5 to 7 years ago now, just made me feel pretty old to be honest. Without him and other YouTubers, I might not be making content today. And that might seem like a weird statement since I'm the commentary channel, but I've been making videos since I was a little kid, and it wasn't always what I'm doing now. So that's that, right? Merc was just a cool COD YouTuber who made some videos I was nostalgic about, and that's where the section would have ended normally. But starting in 2018, his career would start to go downhill, and many controversies would start to follow him in that time. The first one that was notable and unjustified at the time, to be honest, was about his girlfriend. On January 30th, 2018, Eric uploaded a video called Meet My Girlfriend, Karina. In the video, he explains that he met a girl that he fell in love with after talking to her on Snapchat, and that he was ready to devote his life to her, and this caused a bit of backlash from his audience. The main crux of it was that he only knew her for a few months, so he shouldn't have been trying to rush a relationship. And that's a fair point, although I'd counter it by saying that you don't know their relationship and how fast it needs to go. But some people just straight up hated her at the time for some reason, and didn't want to see her in Eric's videos. Keep in mind that at this point, nothing had happened to warrant those comments, so it was just very strange to say the least. There were other things that went on during this, including a short feud between 8Thoughts and Eric, but none of that was too interesting to me. If this was all that happened, I feel like this wouldn't be too notable. Just a YouTube audience getting mad about a girl getting introduced into his content. But the thing that would be pretty interesting to me is what happened in 2020. And in order to talk about that a little bit more, let me give some important info here real quick. One reason that people liked Eric's content so much was because of the dynamic that him and his friends had. They made his videos generally more entertaining, and this is important to know for what happened next. In September 2020, his friends would make tweets discussing how Eric had apparently cut contact with all of them and blocked/unfollowed them on everything. And to them at least, there didn't seem to be anything that happened for him to to do this. Once this was made public, this seemed to be the final straw for some of his fan base, and I could completely understand that. Stuff happens behind the scenes, so I can't exactly speak on what exactly happened between Eric and his friends, and if what they said is completely true or not. Although it seems like for the past few years, he's been completely unwilling to respond to anything they said. Also, there was one specific story about one of Eric's friends being his best man in his wedding before being replaced, which was also confirmed by Eric's wife on Twitter, so make of that what you will. But Eric completely removing one of the main reasons why people came to his channel in the first place was definitely going to cause some harm. And it also didn't help that he's just unwilling to evolve his content. Looking at his channel now, most of his thumbnails and titles look like they come straight out of 2014, and they've been this way for years, with absolutely no effort to change them at all. Not only that, but he's also been doing the same videos for more than a decade. Most YouTubers can't really survive that well without changing up their content to fit with the current landscape, and Eric was no exception. Due to this, his channel is kind of a relic of an older time on YouTube now, and that's about it really. I'll appreciate some of the content he made at the time, due to getting me into some other gaming creators as well, but he's not someone I'd watch now, and I'm probably gonna forget about him as soon as I'm done writing this section. Moving on. Whenever I was trying to figure out which COD channels to put for this video, Azerrz was one of the last ones to cross my mind, and this was mainly because I just really didn't remember him much of the time. But I went to look at his content while researching, and I was shocked at just how much I used to watch from him. That's happened to me a couple of times when I go back to certain YouTubers, but it's odd to me every time. Like, how could I forget someone who made so much content that I loved back when I was younger? And that's what made me want to add him to this video. I'm sure he's not forgotten by a lot of the people watching this. He has 7 million subscribers after all, but that was my reasoning for putting him in here. Feel free to comment Azerrz isn't forgotten under the video all you want. Like the last section, I'm going to look at his history on the platform, my opinion of his content, along with what he is doing now at the time of writing this video. So with that, let's get into it. Azerrz created his channel on November 30th, 2012, with his first video releasing about a month and a half after this. Unlike Merc Music, his channel actually started off with COD trolling, with him doing voice impressions of Cleveland Brown for Family Guy. And this would be his main gimmick throughout his entire channel, even up to today. He would do voices of certain characters to get some laps in a Call of Duty lobby. Even if the videos were pretty simple in concept, they were pretty entertaining, at least to me anyways, and it certainly was to others as well. These videos, along with ones he would upload later on, would snowball him into popularity. In 2013, he had 8,000 subs, and he had doubled his sub count within the next year, all while continuing to do the same trolling videos as he was doing previously. In 2015, he had 100,000 subs, and that number would increase by 5 times in the next year. And some of this had to do with him adding more characters to his videos, like Ted for instance. He would then grow more and more until he's where he's at today, and I just want to say, his content was pretty cool for the time. It's nothing groundbreaking, you're not going to be blown away by the greatest content known to man if you watch it, or something like that, but it also didn't need to be. If we go back to trolling videos in the mid-2010s, most of them were just YouTubers making people mad for reactions. I do find a lot of this content entertaining. Hell, I wouldn't have made my previous video if I didn't, but I also don't mind some that go for a more positive direction with their content. If you go to Azerrz's channel and watch some of the videos on there, you'll see that most of what he does is literally just talking in funny voices and trying to make people in his COD lobbies laugh. It's about as positive as a trolling video can be, and there's something really appealing about that. I'll always appreciate the content he made, even if I forget it was him who made it sometimes, and it seems like certain TV studios took a liking to him as well. In late 2020, the voice actor for Cleveland Brown on Family Guy stepped away from the show for reasons that I won't get into here, so the show's producers were working for a new person to hire for the role. And the thing that surprised me the most is that the person they chose is none other than Azerrz himself. The fact that a YouTuber somehow got the role is just crazy to me. Now, I'm not trying to downplay his talent, of course. I've seen episodes of Family Guy with Cleveland in recent times, and the voice doesn't seem any different to me. But think about it this way. A guy that was sitting in his room and recording impressions for COD lobbies to then upload to YouTube had gotten to be part of one of the most popular cartoons to exist. That's a hell of an achievement. And you'd think that with this role, he might just put his sole focus into that and leave YouTube behind him, but no, he still uploads every few months, with the same style of videos that he was always known for, and I like that a lot. It shows that he never really lost touch with where he started. I don't know anything about how he is personally, but from his videos, Azerrz seems like a nice guy, so at least to me, the success is well deserved. I'm happy that he's been able to get this far, and I can only hope that bigger things are in store for him later on. But that's about all I have for this section. Moving on. Are You Super Serial, otherwise known as Sean, is a guy that to many people in my audience might just be completely unknown. Mainly because his videos are for a completely different audience than the other people on this list, and I'll explain what I mean by that as the video goes on, but for now, let me give some very basic background here before I get into the real meat of this section. On December 7th, 2013, the Are You Super Serial channel was created. I can't find what date his first video was created, as Wayback Archive doesn't give me the best results for his channel before 2017. And the video that is his oldest currently is obviously not his oldest video judging by the description of it. But judging by his uploads that are still up from around this time, I could take a guess and say that he probably started off with COD videos. His content was very similar to Azerrz in that it was voice trolling. Basically, most of these videos were him doing Kermit the Frog impressions, with other characters added in there as well sometimes. And I remember watching these videos a lot when I was younger. One video I remember is when Sean was doing the Kermit voice, and someone else in his COD lobby was really mad about it for some reason. I just always found it funny that someone was getting mad at a guy for simply doing a Kermit the Frog impression. Of all things you can get mad about, why that? But that was an outlier. For the most part, the videos were just people having a good time and laughing at the impressions. I know for a fact that I laughed at all of this stuff, and it seems like others did as well. I can't find much on Wayback Archive to see how much they did back then, so I can't really show the growth of his channel throughout the years, but these videos nowadays have hundreds of thousands to even millions of views today. This was far from what got Sean popular though. While looking at his channel for research, I could only find 22 videos that were gaming related, out of 341 uploads in total. So here comes the question. What was the majority of his content? Well, it was IRL skits with a Kermit the Frog puppet, of course. Totally normal progression from a COD channel. This is why I said that Sean has a completely different audience to the people who are watching my videos. Because let's be honest, it was mostly kids who were watching these. Some of the videos might have had adult themes, but I don't see many adults wanting to watch YouTube videos of two Sesame Street puppets doing stuff. He didn't need an older audience though to get success, as his content would be what would boost the Are You Super Serial channel to new heights. To give some perspective here, the highest viewed video from his COD era, or the highest viewed video that is still up anyways from that time, had around 1 million views. And after this shift, his most viewed video has over 30 million. So clearly this was the thing that people liked more. The videos also featured other notable COD YouTubers at the time, like Best in Class and Die Trickster, both of which were also known for doing voice trolling back in the day. Other characters were added in these videos as well, such as Elmo and Cookie Monster, and it blew up pretty quickly. In fact, I don't know if I could go anywhere online in 2017 without seeing this stupid meme of Kermit in a car while he was singing some song. Not gonna play the audio here for copyright reasons, but trust me, this was a big thing for whatever reason. And while I did enjoy watching these videos at the time, it's become more and more clear that I did so because I was 12 to 13 while these were popular. I understand the appeal, don't get me wrong, but I just get nothing out of watching Kermit and Elmo skits as a 20-year-old. I'm surprised I've lived this long, goddamn. But you know what? I respect it. People have to evolve with time in order to fit with the YouTube landscape. That's what most YouTubers do to stay relevant, and that's exactly what Sean did as well. I don't like the content, but I get why he makes it. His channel doesn't seem to have much footing today, however. Looking at his current content, it just seems to be the same exact stuff he was making in 2017, although with some slight format changes. And his channel has dropped significantly in views. I'm not some expert in the algorithm, so I can't really come up with a good answer as to why this happened. Maybe his audience just found this to be stale and the kids who are watching him grew up. Who knows though. Overall, Are You Super Serial is a pretty interesting YouTuber to me, not necessarily because of his content itself, but because of the way that he shifted his channel. I'll always have nostalgia for his earlier stuff, and I respect the direction he went towards. Moving on. This video was a special one for me to make. Like my last video in the series, the people I talked about were all YouTubers that I watched and liked a lot when I was a little kid, and some of the content will always be special to me. I don't know if it's necessarily because of nostalgia or if the content legitimately has entertainment value, but either way, trolling content and gaming content in general will always be something that has a special place in my heart, and that's why I made these videos. I like making commentary videos, but sometimes it's good to do something a little different, especially if it's something I'm heavily nostalgic for. And with that, I'm done with this video. But before I end this off, I want to promote my merch line. Yes, I have merch as a 4,000 subscriber YouTuber. Don't laugh at me, please. They're just hats, shirts, and other items that have this logo on it. Buy it if you want. It'll help support the channel financially. But of course, you don't have to do anything. It was just something that I thought would be funny to put up since the logo literally says I bought YouTuber merch. My links are in the description for every platform I'm on if you want to support me on those, including a new Discord server I made with my friends. And with that, I'll be taking my leave. Oh yeah, one last thing. #FOLM.